Hey, Chris Lipe here. This video is in a response to really several questions I got on the channel after I released my mixed voice video. And the questions more or less were, well, okay, I got that feel, but how do I make it usable for real music? Like, I don't want it to sound thin. I don't want a thin mix. I want a mix that I can actually use. And what they're asking is, or communicating is that they want to develop their mixed voice. How do we develop our mixed voice? Making it sound chestier, more aggressive, more full. And I'm not necessarily just talking about adding grit. We want a chestier, more confident tone and less like an unusable, whiny cat. Well, the answer that you get from most, and that you're going to get from me as well, is that developing your mix takes lots of practice. Lots of introspection, lots of trial and error, experimenting with different types of feels. But in this video, I want to give you a practical starting point, something to experiment with feel-wise that will help take your voice from that mixed, I've discovered it, but it's not really that useful yet, to getting on the path to creating a chestier, more girth-driven, and aggressive feeling and sounding mixed voice. Knowing what to sing when you are cold. Knowing what to sing when you are cold. I don't know. Before we get into this much further, if you haven't discovered your mixed voice yet, that's okay. I've done a video on that on this channel. Be sure to check it out. And if you want to take your voice further, if you want to discover more about how to use introspection, how to draw from everyday vocal experiences that we all have in order to make your singing voice better, be sure to join my free vocal course linked below. So moving forward here, I'm going to operate under the assumption that you've already watched my mixed voice video and that you already have a solid foundation of where to get your power from, what proper breath support looks like, and that you have discovered the two ways to access the starting points of mix. Just to review, way one is the dying cat. That harsh, not musical way. I covered that in my How to Sing Like Chris Cornell video, and I also covered that in other videos here and there. And then the other way to access mix is with the yawn approach. Both of those ways are allowing you to access notes that you can't necessarily get in your chest, your full chest, but they aren't pure falsetto either, right? They're very, they're different sounding, they're different feeling, and we can sing in those different mixes. I love to sing and get pretty high and pretty loud. We can do it the other way. I love to sing. Now, here's the secret. Here's the starting point to making your mix feel and sound more musical. I just released a video on belting a couple days ago. If you've gotten that sensation of your resonance happening from here forward, this invisible ball of energy that happens in the front of your mouth, we're going to combine that sensation with these ugly mix sounds. And we're going to get something that is in between. Now, this is what takes a lot of practice, is going from that belt sensation and then having these ugly things, these ugly mixes, and blending those together, blending those approaches together. This is what takes the time. But I'm going to demonstrate for you how it looks, how it sounds. And if you do the same things, you'll figure out how it feels, and then you'll have a fantastic springboard to start experimenting more on your own. Belted note. Oh! Now, I'm going to add compression, and I'm going to think dying cat mix, which you're adding compression when you think dying cat mix, but I'm going to add more compression than I think I need to, even in the midst of thinking dying cat mix. But at the same time, I'm going to continue to place and think about the resonance happening in the front of my mouth, the front of my face. Ah! And maintain that pitch. Ah! I was able to keep that note forward, and you notice it got brighter. And also notice that I'm dealing with a note that's comfortable for me to hit and belt. I'm not low, I'm not all the way up there. Ah! That's belted, but that feel, that compressed, brighter feel where my larynx has rocked this way just a little bit and is raised just a little bit, has helped me to blend the two feels. Now, I'm going to start with that note. Ah! Notice, I was darker belt. Ah! And I'm going to follow it up with no goal pitch whatsoever above me. Ah! Ah! Now, when I do that, I don't want this. I just want to center on the pitch, get the resonance, combine that bright mix feeling with my belt. And I want to maintain composure here while I push a little bit more here, change the pitch upward. And we just want to kind of let any grit happen or not happen. We're not experimenting with fry right now. We're going to focus on primary resonance and support. And if grit happens to enter into the picture as you keep singing, which it will if you're doing it correctly, that's what we're going to let happen. We're not going to try to be all distorted right now. That's dangerous at this point. So, continuing with this. Now we're going to do the same thing with the yawn approach to mix. By default, we're going to end up dropping our larynx. That's okay. Make sure that you're focusing on that ball of energy in the front of your mouth. Here I went up, it thinned out, and it was mixed, but it wasn't really obnoxious either. I used that grounding tone to access it. As opposed to that was cat, here is yawn. Now, a big key to making a more usable and chestier mix is knowing where your limits are and choosing to operate in your upper chest. We don't want to go so high that we miss our powerful middle. Part of what makes mix feel useless is we immediately go for, we immediately go for these really high mixed notes without really trying to develop tone throughout our range. And that's really what the exercise we're doing right now is helping us do. We're focusing on the importance of our upper middle chestier resonance. And then we're going just a little bit higher. And those are the mixed notes. Those are the belted mixed notes that a lot of people really love to listen to and that are the most fun to sing. So a big part of discovering your good mix is realizing your limitations, not being afraid to sing and really work on the middle of your range instead of just expanding all the way up to the moon. So now that we've done the that thing several times with both approaches to mix, we're going to target a note, get the resonance, think about blending the two approaches, the pure belt with either mix approach, and then we're just going to start walking up a scale, keeping intensely focused on all these aspects. This works. This is how I've developed my mix over the years, and this is how I warm up my mix a lot of times. So we're going to go, there it is. That is a powerful belted mix. It sounds chesty. I could make it sound more chesty. All very forward, all very aggressive, lots of air. There's compression happening. There's this attentiveness to where the energy is focused. Here, getting my source from here, finding a comfortable pitch, and then working with neighboring pitches and keeping all these things in mind. Now, what I just demonstrated was with the dying cat approach to mix. Now, let me demonstrate it with the yawn approach. It's a different sound, but still cool. Now, let's take this to a track and experiment with this very same thing in a musical context, just to help us ground even more. I always recommend going to a musical context. Again, if you want to take this stuff further, and at the same time, make sure you have the solid foundation for success, be sure to join my free vocal course linked below. Don't let it thin out. Thin. Nah. Ground yourself in a confident chest. Get that belt resonance. And there's going to be things that you don't like that come out. That's great. That just means you're learning. Yeah, forward. Yeah. incrementally around it. Let that grounding pitch be your foundation.